And now one idea that's getting a lot of attention is the Dems need to find their Joe Rogan, a liberal Joe Rogan, because that's why Kamala lost. Republicans have a podcast. Okay, maybe. Or you could consider this. Instead of conjuring up a new Joe Rogan, ask yourself why you lost the old one. Because he used to be on your side. But I watched the evolution of both these guys. This didn't happen overnight. In 2022, before he owned Twitter, Elon tweeted this chart depicting how he felt about the liberal side having shifted so much that it left a basically liberal centrist like him now labeled a conservative. I related to the kind of mean girl shit you get from the cool kids in Wokeville.
Just now, Bill Maher launched a scathing attack on the Democratic Party. He shocked political circles by accusing them of betraying their own interests and alienating important friends in an audacious and unvarnished manner. View all of the highlights here. Remember to subscribe and enable alerts so you don't miss any more opportunities like these.
Early to strategize. Democrats have been having a lot of donor retreats lately where liberal strategists hold ideathons, where they try to figure out why they keep losing elections. You know, apart from using words like ideathon. And now one idea that's getting a lot of attention is the Dems need to find their Joe Rogan, a liberal Joe Rogan, because that's why Kamala lost. Republicans have a podcast.
Here's the summary, but I'll finish the tape in a moment. Following their humiliating loss in November of last year, Democrats are frantically trying to find reasons. Although that sense of urgency is reasonable, think tanks and rehashed talking points won't provide genuine answers. Listening to voters, to frank criticism, and to the difficult reality they face is the first step toward rebuilding. Rather, they're promoting concepts like finding their own Joe Rogan, as if imitation might take the place of genuineness. Bill Maher sees right through the bullshit, and he fires them for it. The celebration could go into a spiral after what he says next.
According to a new Gallup poll, 45% of Democrats want the party to move to the center, which is up 11 points from 4 years ago. Now, whenever a political party finds a real star president, the other side always says, well, we have to find our Bill Clinton, our Reagan, our Obama. Well, the Democrats need to find their Trump. Not the authoritarian part, but the part where a politician bonds with everyday Americans because he talks like them. And the good news for Democrats is they have that guy, and his name is John Fetterman. After the election, instead of curling up in a ball, Fetterman went to Mar-a-Lago, where Trump assumed he was one of the guys from January 6th.
I've been saying this for weeks. Some of the most vocal supporters of Republican principles now were once ardent Democratic ideologues. They hated conservatives and attacked everything from their ideas to their personalities. They didn't merely disagree with them. However, the woke virus then infiltrated. Liberal leaders chose to ignore it rather than confront it, stifling moderate voices who still supported liberal principles but couldn't stand the extreme. The fact that previous allies have abandoned them now shocks those same leaders. However, what were they expecting? You cannot expect devotion from your base if you humiliate, silence, and disrespect them. Dogma cannot take the place of reason and expect people to stick around. Furthermore, you cannot deny reality and then complain when it ultimately confronts you.
Kind of gay adjacent respect Trump usually reserves for Putin. Trump and Fetterman actually have a lot in common. They're both plain-spoken anti-elitists who come from money, married exotic immigrant ladies, went to Ivy League schools, and aren't afraid to take on their own party. And when the wind catches Trump's hair just right, they're both 6'8". Look, here's the thing. Voters aren't really savvy about the issues, but they have made it clear what is important to them.
Bill keeps the fire burning, cautioning Democrats about the dangers of leaning too far to the left, particularly by adopting unbridled awakened ideology. He highlights the harsh reality that many Americans aren't backing Republicans because they like Trump. They just have had enough of being spoken down to and humiliated. People are fed up with hearing that their views are flawed. They are against a society that deems everything objectionable and penalizes debate. Democrats are ignoring the mounting reaction at their own peril.
Authenticity, balls, and charisma. Trump has that package, and so does Fetterman. He's only been a senator 2 years, and he's already more famous than most of his colleagues. Quick, I dare you to name this sad-looking lady from Washington State who's been in the Senate for 30 years. You can't teach charisma or balls. Fetterman is that rare Democrat who's not afraid to put the woke nonsense peddlers in his own party in their place, saying things like, wanting a secure border and realizing that it was out of control, that doesn't mean you're a xenophobe or a racist. He's been unequivocally pro-Israel, as are most Americans, and when pro-Palestinian protesters showed up at his home, he went up on the roof and waved an Israeli flag.
Democrats may see Elon Musk's rift with Donald Trump as a victory, but it's also a sign of split on the other side. But let's avoid making hasty judgments. Whether Democrats are prepared to shed the woke virus that now characterizes their political identity is the true issue. Bill Maher still believes the party can change its direction, which is where I diverge from him. I don't. Democrats have adopted racial essentialism, identity politics, and a culture in which dissent is met with hate speech. Losing supporters is preferable than running the risk of upsetting activists. That is ideological suicide, not strategy. They won't be saved by any Musk versus Trump drama unless they confront that reality.
Can I pretend I can really think about anything other than the Trump-Elon thing? Well, I mean, when you think about it, the richest man in the world and the most powerful man in the world, it's like Godzilla versus King Kong. If Godzilla was on ketamine and King Kong had a comb-over.
Although considerable harm has been done, Elon Musk and Donald Trump's public feud isn't always irreversible. Because they are both strong, egocentric individuals, conflicts were inevitable. Political coalitions seldom last, as history demonstrates, and I wouldn't be shocked if they eventually patch things up. Trump's destiny is not doomed by this dispute. He has survived worse and still won the president. What's my point? Democrats should concentrate on offering a better alternative rather than celebrating what they perceive to be Trump's defeat. This entails removing contentious language and diversions from the cultural fight, particularly the fixation on wokeism that turns off important voters. They must demonstrate to Americans that they can rule rather than merely oppose if they want to take the lead.
Call that a gettable voter. Someone who's mulling a change. Maybe this will put quietus to the nonsense that Elon and Rogan too went to the dark side. I hear that all the they went to the dark. Yeah, like they got that The Last of Us fungal infection and became zombies. No. They just got driven away, because that's how politics works these days. One side gets elected precisely because the other side was just in power and pushed their agenda way too far and drove people in the opposite direction. The pendulum swings back and forth with people not voting for anything, but just to get rid of the latest extremist assholes who tried to remake America in their image instead of just governing.
Ideological disagreements are normal since everyone has a different idea of what America should be. Extremism on all sides, however, is the true danger. Democracy begins to falter when politics becomes a contest of purity and fury rather than solutions. Bill Maher fails to see that the majority of Americans are more concerned with meeting their fundamental necessities, such as having access to decent health care, good schools, food, and other liberties, than they are with ideologies. Culture conflicts are less important than a robust economy and viable social services. Instead of cacophony, they desire steadiness. Leaders will continue to lose the people they are supposed to represent until they understand that.
Well, right now, it's the Republicans who are the very definition of drunk with power, and also sometimes just drunk. But the drunk with power part, that's what Democrats should pay attention to, because you know who's easy to beat in a fight? A drunk. Really, I've done it. Now, I was also drunk, so it was a draw. But the point is, Trump owns the lowest 100-day job approval rating of any president. Only 39% approve of his handling of the economy, which was always his forte. You know, it's not like anyone was asking for tariffs. Do you think the bros and the bras, you think they want to pay $150 more for a PlayStation? You think they want the government to ban abortion and ban pornography and do lots of other far-right stuff that's in the Project 2025 blueprint? Please, their project for 2025 is trying to get laid.
Stats may be deceptive, and it's still early. How many pollsters were certain that Kamala Harris will win the 2024 election before the harsh reality set in? Therefore, we cannot claim that Trump's popularity is waning. There is still a lot of grassroots support, and his rallies are crowded. Democrats, meanwhile, are not only anticipating victory. By enacting extreme policies, suppressing criticism, and politically using government entities, they are causing instability. Moderates and center-left voters are becoming disenchanted with their emphasis on identity politics and demonizing parental rights. No one should count off either side just yet, since the political landscape is continuously changing. Many Americans were moved by Trump's unambiguous pledge to clamp down on illegal immigration. In some places, illegal immigration may increase crime, put a burden on border towns, and strain available resources. It seems sense to take action in this regard. It's not all black and white, however. A one-size-fits-all strategy runs the danger of penalizing industrious residents who have raised families, paid taxes, and lived here for years. Along with being unfeasible, deporting them with criminals is also ethically dubious. Fixing the system without taking lives is what true leadership entails, striking a balance between compassion and enforcement. Although Medicaid and healthcare reform are complicated issues, Maher is correct about how we arrived at this point. Democrats assumed that media coverage and anti-Trump rhetoric would prevail, so they became too fixated on optics and bashing Trump. In the meanwhile, actual issues like lengthy wait times, Medicaid gaps, and growing healthcare expenditures were disregarded. Their infatuation with demonizing Trump failed because Americans are more interested in outcomes than political theatrics. Both Trump's shortcomings and the Democrats' errors are evident. They need to give up woke rhetoric, get back in touch with regular Americans, and provide practical answers if they want to succeed. If not, voters will continue to choose disruption over the well-maintained but outdated status quo. That concludes the video for today. Please click the like button and subscribe for more if you liked it. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you soon.